We got the keys to your dreams. IAR will make you beam. With every step, we got your back. Find your home, pack that stack. IAR, we're by your side. Through the merry real estate ride. We'll get you there. Don't you fret, the finest tax you ain't seen yet. From doorstep to front lawn delight.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Just before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for educational purposes only. For legal and financial advice, please seek help from a licensed professional. Thank you. Like I said, welcome to the Humble Hustle Podcast. My name is Antoine Basquiat, and I will be your host for today's episode. The man behind the scenes, you know him, you love him, Aaron Shrivastava. He will be the moderator for today. Today's show is brought to you by Toastmasters, Century Green. If you are looking to vastly improve your public speaking skills, or just looking to finally win an argument with your significant other, look no further than Toastmasters, Century Green. Today's show is also sponsored by IAR Property Solutions. If you're looking to sell, buy, or renovate your property, IAR will be by your side through the merry real estate ride. As your host today, I will be acting as your conduit on this educational journey. I'll be asking our guest today what it takes to start a business, and I am just as curious as you are. In order to provide a fulfilling experience for both our audience and guests, I will be taking notes during our conversation. This way we can take a deep dive as needed. So if you see me looking off camera, I am actively taking notes, and I'm still most definitely listening. We will be having three different segments today. Segment 1, where are they now? 2, what does it take to start a business? And lastly, wants, needs, and goals. Aaron, like I said, is the moderator for today. He'll be moderating the chat. And at the end of each segment, we'll be taking questions from our audience. Well, if this sounds good, let's introduce our guests. First, we have Josh Bailey. Originally hails from Waterloo, New York, now living in Lillington, North Carolina. He's a former firefighter that has been in the residential and commercial construction business for quite some time now, working with some of the top industry leaders, managing projects from roofing all the way to full gut renovations. Now he has 2 adventures, his own business, Oakwood Property Solutions, and his exciting new adventure, his little baby girl, real soon. Great to have you on the show today. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for taking the time. Now,
of course.
introducing our second guest, also Josh Sanders. He originally hails from Staten Island, New York, now living the sunny life in Miami, Florida. We both were former wide receivers at King's College, Afros all day, never forget. He has a Master's of Business in Sports and Athletic Administration from Lynn University, also has a Master's of Science in Athletic Training from FIU, working not only at the collegiate level, but also as an athletic trainer, but also at the professional level. He has taken his talents and started his own mobile athletic training facility known as YB Fit. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for joining us today. I know it's very busy schedule, joining us live from Florida. So it's always great to see you.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, happy to help, happy to give him as much advice as I can.
All right, well, last but not least, let's get into it. So, thank you guys, thank you audience, thank you guest members for joining. Like I said, this is the very first episode. Very excited to be here. And I'm very excited to get into a deep dive conversation of how to start a business. So let's just get into it. Josh, this might be a little bit complicated with 2 Joshes, but Josh Bailey, Josh B. let me ask you this. Can you just tell me a little bit more about your business? I want you guys just to kind of give a summary of your business. Just give the audience a little bit more information.
Yeah, so pretty much I was doing full house renovations and restoration work and decided take it out on my own and kind of dive into doing the same type of thing, and finding customers who really need something done to their home, and making sure we do a real good job. And there's a lot of people out there to get burned by bad contractors, and it's nice to get out there and take care of them and do some good work.
Okay, sounds good. Always great to help people, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
See a need, fill a need. So, Josh Sanders, same question.
As Antoine stated in the beginning, I've been an athletic trainer for the past 4 or 5 years now. I took a job with the UFL, which only runs for 4 months out of the year. So the other 8 months, I was like, let's offer my services to the public, help general population and not just the athletes. So I decided to build a school bus so I can be mobile about it too. I go to people's houses, I drive the school bus to parks, the beach, and I just kind of hang out and allow people to come see what I have to offer. So inside, I do cupping, massage, I do dry needling. I do have the ability to do a whole strength regime, a rehab regime. So I have dumbbells, bench press, all of it. So like you said, it helps to help people. I enjoy helping people. So if you want to get healthy, whether it be from a strength aspect, the nutrition aspect, or you just want to become pain free, I'm your guy.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And hey, you can't beat being able to pull up to a beach and calling it a work day. That's amazing, right? All right. Well, for Josh Bailey, what has been your favorite project so far? What is one of those projects that kind of just stood out to you throughout your career?
Yeah, so I would say one of the last projects I did, I was able to take a building that a guy wanted to always have a nice real workshop for him to do all his woodworking stuff, and kind of just bring that to a closure, and get that all done for him, and really close everything in, and set some lights up and get some heating and air conditioning in there so he could actually go out and enjoy it in any weather and do the woodworking he liked now that he was retired. So, and as a fellow woodworker, I definitely appreciate the size of the shop that we built him, and it was great to bring that vision alive for him.
Yeah, I remember going and looking at that place with you, man, and
Yeah.
he had a house behind his house.
Yeah,
Essentially.
yeah, it was a big project. Yeah,
It
that's
was
right.
quite impressive, and most definitely the photos, and we'll be sure to share those photos later on at the end when we start posting this up everywhere. But that work is high quality, 2-story workshop this guy had,
Yeah,
and it looks like he could live in it. He could charge rent. He could most
yeah,
definitely charge rent.
yeah.
So, Josh Sanders, same question. What was your favorite project so far? Taking the bus around.
The bus in itself was a project. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace, gutted it, and did everything myself. I might have to
Wow.
call my man Josh Bailey to come because recently I've been living in it to get rid of the cost of living. That's expensive, rent. So I got tired of paying rent, so now I live in it and work out of it. So I might have you come down and put some lights, some woodworks in there
Yeah,
for me. But
yeah, most definitely.
yeah, so that was an awesome project. But I'd say my favorite thing about my business is my ability to dry needle. I love dry needling. It's probably my passion. So, um, going to people's houses, dry needling them, and seeing the results like immediately. Like some people like, is needle supposed to work this fast? And it does sometimes. So, I would say between the bus and dry needling, those are probably my two favorite aspects of my business.
Okay. And I kind of wanted to take a little bit of a moment and kind of hone in on what both of you guys were saying previously. And I think it's a really big, important part of starting a business, which is helping people, right? Everybody says if you see a need, fill a need. You can't start a business if you don't have anybody buying it, right? So I think it's really crucial when we have this conversation of starting a business that we point out the fact that both of you guys are not only providing a service, you are providing a service that helps people, right? So when you're looking at the service of helping people, are you when you're looking for your customers, when you're looking for your target audience, are you going to them and asking, hey, these are the services I provide, do you need my help, or are you actively seeking out just anybody in general? Josh? D?
It's really a lot of it's just been word of mouth. People hear you do good work, and they want to find out if you can take care of their projects. And that's just really kind of been what I've been focusing on is, not really going out there and, asking who needs what, but more of a waiting for the opportunities to, present themselves from the word of mouth and doing good work every single time and just letting that good work flow. Cause it's a lot easier to get somebody to sign on board when you have heard from, friends or family of theirs that, you did right and you made it happen for them.
Well, I mean, I think today you already made a customer by word of mouth. Josh
Yeah,
already
see?
hiring you, right?
Yeah, Antoine gets
Yeah.
that referral for sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got me hooked. You got me hooked.
I want that referral fee. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
But
So,
I'm
yeah.
I'm a piggyback right off of him. I'm gonna say word of mouth has kind of been the biggest thing. So I
Okay.
treat the athletes in the season, and then they come back home, they go to their gyms, and they're like, "Oh, I got a guy for you. Oh, I got a guy for you." And I just get referrals that way. Word of mouth has definitely been the biggest. And one thing I like to do, I noticed, I'll be walking around Home Depot and I see a 60, 70-year-old guy limping. I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you walking like that?" I'll ask him. He'll be like, "I think I can help you. You wanna?" And then they'll go from there and just talking to people in public, go in the gym, sitting in front of a gym, be like, "You need some recovery work after your workout?" And go and give him a business card, and it runs from there. So that,
Wow.
like you said, word of mouth has really been the biggest thing for me as of recently.
And listen, I know both of you guys very well, and I'll give it to both of you guys. You both have that ability to just walk up to anybody and start a conversation. I shake somebody's hand. Josh knows I'll forget that. I'll forget their name in 5 seconds before I even let go of their hand. I don't even remember. So for both of you guys I think that's really an important part to kind of key in on is you're helping people, you're providing a service, you're looking for that, you're having that conversation with the people to really understand where their needs are and how you can help them. So I think that word of mouth is really important. Hopefully you guys being on this podcast increases that word of mouth. So that's our goal here today, is also spread the word of how we're trying to help people. So well, actually, hey, Aaron, I think I did see a question come in. We might as well take it since we're on the topic. What was that question, Aaron?
So the question that came in is, how did you get your first customers?
Okay, that's a good question. Would any one of you guys want to start? How did you gain your first customer?
Yeah, so actually I was doing a commercial job up in Raleigh, and one of the higher ups there, after we got pretty much done with the job, he said, "Man, you guys were, efficient, and everything looks really good. Do you do anything by yourself?" And I said, "Well, I do." And at that time, I really had just thought about starting the business, and I was like, "Yep, I will. I'll go ahead and get that on the books for you." And then we, hurried up and got everything with the state. So it was just kind of a right place, right time, doing the right kind of work. And I did go to his house, and for him and his wife, we did a nice office addition into their attic space that was unused. So she was able to get a whole huge office with heating and everything away. So that was pretty cool. Just right place, right time.
Okay, that's awesome. And you
Yeah.
see, right here, right now, we're getting a live demonstration of what this man can do as an athletic trainer. That's the best word of mouth you can do right there. Listen, so thank you, Josh. No worries. Do your thing. We got a lot more questions to go, and we have another guest member. So no worries, man. That's perfect right there. You can't get a better advertising than that right there.
Yeah.
So kind of just piggybacking off of what you just said, Josh, right? You got this first customer. Now, the biggest thing I think in any business is, especially in the industry that you're in, when you're dealing with somebody's home, something that's so personal, I think it's difficult to rail them in as a customer. You need to gain their trust. You need to have them bring you into their home, which is a very personal space. And oftentimes, right, renovations can be costly. So not only are they trusting you with their personal space, but they're also trusting you with your checkbook, right? So I say all of that to say is, being in such an intimate profession, how did you gain the trust of that first customer?
Yeah, that is definitely a huge one. I can't even tell you how many people I run into that, they say, "Oh, you're a contractor." The last contractor I used, he, took 10,000, never showed back up, or, hey, we're still fighting with the lawyers. So there's a lot of bad contractors out there that really put a bad taste in people's mouth, and so it's really not that I'm even starting from a neutral platform. We're always starting in the negative. They're always worried that that's going to happen with them. So not knowing somebody and trying to start from that, it's definitely tough. But showing somebody what you've already done in an actual job site, that's always helpful. So with that first one, that was nice because he met me every day. He saw me there at the job site with my crews, saw how I interacted with my crews, made sure they didn't have anything that they were stopping them from continuing to work so they could get the business back open. So he saw firsthand what I was doing. So I think that really let him know that I wasn't gonna take advantage of him on doing it in his own house. Yeah.
Okay. So would you say that, right, you have that word of mouth, that's how you're getting the news around and things like that, but in order to gain trust from a potential client or potential customer, do you think, right, if they didn't see you coming into work every day doing your work, firsthand experience, do you do anything else in terms of being able to show your customers what you've done in the past? Are you doing videos, taking pictures, websites, things like that?
Yeah, so we sit down and we go over, a bunch of pictures of jobs that I've done. I try not to just flood them with pictures of everything, but if they want me to do their bathroom, I say, hey, here's a bunch of pictures of, bathrooms that I've done recently, or same with kitchens, or, the same thing with like that accessory building that we did. It was pretty similar to the attic office space that we did. So showing them not just, hey, I can do work, but hey, this is some of the items that I've done recently that is geared towards what you're looking for. So you can kind of see, if you're looking for tile that are, we actually have tile guys. It's not just a painter who's doing tile. You can actually see that there's quality people there doing quality work. And I think that definitely helps.
Okay. And right, so I think that's a very big point is a lot of contractors, I think what they tend to have a tendency to do is not really think about the next job or the 5 jobs after that. They kind of think about, okay, I'm one and done. How I need to be in, I need to be out quick as fast as possible, because that's really how you make more money, right? The quicker you're in, the quicker you're out. So you're really trying to build a reputation. You're really trying to build a brand, not only of trust, but also just of high quality craftsmanship. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want. You don't want to just, have somebody say, oh yeah, he came in, knocked it out real quick, and then, 3 months later I started having some issues. You want somebody to say, hey, this guy did something for me 2 years ago and I have had 0 problems. He took his time, he got everything thoroughly done, he documented the process. He asked me questions in the middle of it, said, hey, here's a couple options, we can go this way or this way. Just kind of being, personable with the people. It really helps out.
Okay. Yeah, and going back to the high quality people, how are you handling those contractors? How are you finding those guys? What kind of tidbits do you really look for when you're looking for a subcontractor?
Yeah, so that is definitely a huge one. There's a plethora of subcontractors out there that'll do the same thing as the next one. And the subs that I work with day in and day out, I've worked with them for years and years. I know everybody on the crew. We get lunch together and just really building that repertoire. And they know that, hey, I'm treating them with respect. I'm taking care of them. But at the same time, if the job that they're doing isn't met to the standards that we're going for, that they're going to have to be held accountable for that. And finding those guys who it just they go above and beyond every single time. It's wonderful. So like my exterior guy, I've had him I think the 3rd month I moved down to North Carolina. It was the first crew that I had worked with, and I have worked with him ever since. And it's wonderful. They're a great group of guys, and I never have to worry. They put a roof on and I can sleep at night. It's a great feeling. It really is.
Yeah. And again, I feel like this might be a reoccurring theme is the trust aspect. Not only do you have to make sure your clients trust you, but you also have to make sure your subcontractors trust you and you
Yeah.
trust them, right? So I think that's really cool that you're building up that relationship, because I think that's the name of the game, right? That's the name
Oh,
of
most
business is
definitely.
relationships.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all about relationships. You know, you treat your guys great, they're gonna take care of you, and they're gonna do the right thing, and you don't have to worry about them covering up stuff and cutting
Hmm.
corners because they know that I'm looking at it. I'm gonna find it. I'm on the job sites and checking out, making sure that the quality's there, and they know that the customer's watching too, and the customer's gonna let me know if they see something they don't like. So just over time building the relationship, you find some good ones, you find some bad ones, and you keep the good ones and keep them busy, and it works out wonderfully.
Exactly. Yeah. Just when I think about exactly what you're saying, I think it's important to kind of point out that it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a constant adapting and changing. Like you said, you exactly said that exact thing. Sometimes people don't work out, sometimes they do,
Yep.
and you just find a way to change. So I think
Yeah.
that's really cool, because in any industry, especially in yours, is things are going to change. That's always going to be the constant. And you only have two options. You can either bend or you can either break.
Yeah.
So being able to bend is key.
Especially in the construction industry.
Hmm.
Very few times do you get a job that runs perfectly from start to finish. No issues, no material delays, no broken material coming in, no subs getting sick. Very rare. So just being able to adapt to that, and each one of these guys have their own personal lives that they're going through and family issues and things come up. So expecting them to just be machines that run through with no stops or issues, it's unrealistic. So just knowing that they're human and they're going through life too, and just kind of flowing as we go.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I could find one wall in my house that's straight all the way through, but it's still standing strong, baby. It's still
uh,
standing strong, so I can't complain.
I did not build Antoine's house. So
No, 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 you did not. No, you did not. Might have to call you to straighten some, but no, it's all good.
uh,
Aaron, I think I saw some more questions come in. Which one?
Let's start with reflecting on your journey so far. What are you most proud of accomplishing with your business?
That's a good one.
I would say just really getting started. Ever since I really got into construction and um, figuring out how all this stuff works. I started in the commercial and got into residential, and uh, just taking that leap of faith and jumping in and saying, "Hey, we're going to do this on my own." There's no big business behind me that's going to catch me if I fall. It's me, myself, and I, and we're gonna do it. So that's really been the biggest thing.
Mhm. Well, that actually there's a great follow-up question to that, which is, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned along the way that you
Ooh.
wish you knew if you were to start over again?
Mm. That's a tough one. There's a lot. I would have loved to have done this earlier. Started the whole business journey myself earlier, but I think that every step I took before I actually went and did it really helped me out. Coming from a fully commercial background before I moved down here to jumping in, learning more and more about the residential industry, and then going from roofing, siding, windows, and doors into like a restoration reconstruction. It definitely opened up a lot more knowledge for me, and I don't think not taking those steps would have benefited me. So I think that was really good for my journey.
What? So I kind of want to piggyback on that a little bit, because hindsight is always 2020, and I always like to think that I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't go through whatever I've gone through before, right? So are you do you think you would be where you are with your business if you didn't go through your previous experiences?
I'm not saying that I wouldn't have done it, but I definitely would not be where I'm at now.
Mm,
Every part of the journey, every job that went wrong that we had to figure out, and every hey, this company isn't for me anymore. We're gonna go take on this new adventure over here. It definitely helped shape what I'm doing now, because if I would have started this 6 years ago, I don't think it would have been anywhere close to the plethora of knowledge that I've learned in these past 6 years. It's really been great to hone in on this residential style work, and um, yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I think I think really when you're looking back at everything that you're doing, do you think that it I guess what I'm trying to ask, right, is you're working towards this place you want to be and all the experiences that you have before. I think it's not a matter of if you're going to have an issue, it's more of a matter of when you're going to have an issue.
most
And
definitely.
and I don't think that anybody here is just going to win every single time, right?
Yeah.
So when you have failed, do you think that you've learned more from your failures as opposed to your successes?
Oh, most definitely. Every time you go into a job and you have to redo something or you fail an inspection, and those are always things that next time you will be looking out for. And it just gives you so much more perspective of, all right, well, if I'm doing this type of job, I need to look out for these 10 things, where before it was like, hey, I'm just going to go do a bathroom. It's like,
Mm,
well, the last bathroom we had, these things, we still got it to the finish line, but it cost us more money. It took longer. We didn't really have that solid, smooth workflow. So, you definitely learn more from your mistakes, and I make them every day. So some are costlier than others, and, we try to keep them on the cheap end, and just get through it.
yeah, and I think that a lot of people can really do anything. That's my personal belief. I think anybody can do anything that they really do focus on and put all their energy and effort to. But that's impossible, right? Like nobody can be an athletic trainer and also be a contractor and also be a software developer, make a pocket. It's insane, right? Like you cannot be the expert at everything. I think it was you, Josh, right? I think you told me once that and you correct me if I'm wrong, but a master of many is a master of none. And I was like, what fortune cookie did this man open? I was like, what? Whoa, put that on a bumper sticker, post it on my wall. That's just a great piece of advice. And I think everything that you're saying, right? The failures, the successes, all the things that you've experienced, I think that leads up to why people will hire you, right? That is, people are not paying you because you can do the job. They're paying you because you know what needs to be done. They're paying you because of the experience you have. So when you see these job postings, you're like, this is an entry level job. There's a reason, right? They're hiring you because it sounds like, based on what we're talking about, they're hiring you because not only do they trust you, you're providing a service to help these people, but more importantly, maybe even more crucial, the experience that you're bringing to the table is going to be far none, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, right? Residential compared to commercial, completely two different spaces when you're talking about the field of construction, right?
Oh, most definitely. Oh, yeah.
So you're bringing your commercial background and knowledge into a residential space, which is probably, I would say, probably a lot more stringent upon what's required, what the types of things you need to go through. So you're bringing in all this experience, not only from a residential side, but a commercial side that'll help.
Yeah, I mean, it is two different beasts, and I like the way that I, happened to do it, where I started in the commercial and then get into residential. And, I ran across a bunch of people who were like, I could never build a whole apartment complex. It was
Mm,
like, it's just too overwhelming. And it's like, well, you only have to focus on that wall. And then when you're done with that, we'll just go to the next wall. So breaking it up, and looking at it like that, I think if I came from the residential, went into the commercial, it definitely would have, had that same viewpoint. So being able to, take something that's massive as $1 million project and just boiling it down to, that's just a couple walls, just start here and just keep on going. I like the way I did it. It wasn't
perfect.
intentional, but it worked out.
One step at a time. It's supposed to happen that way, It's meant to be. Well, we're getting close to the time of the end of this segment, but I see Josh Sanders is back. Hey, how
Yes,
how
sir.
was that, man? I was telling the people that you were giving us a live demo here, so I think that was pretty good. It was a nice little break.
No, she played 2 matches today. She got another match stretching, a little treatment after her matches. So I took care of her real quick. But she's from somewhere in Europe. This tennis tournament has people from. I've been to. People don't even speak English. People from Czech Republic. You're everywhere. I'm like, okay, all right. What you need?
Wow.
Show me.
That you see
So yeah.
out here in North Carolina, I don't know if it's a thing in Florida too, but the big thing here is pickleball, and I could barely play table tennis, so I can't I can't even imagine tennis right now. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. It's all
Yeah.
day tournament.
All day. No matter
Wow.
of fact, it's been going since Monday. So they've been playing. They on games like 20, 21 in the past like 5, 6 days. I'm like,
Wow,
y'all
that's
different,
crazy. When we started, it was daytime behind you.
right? And look, they got the lights on and everything. This is my last match right here. So
Okay. Well, like I said, we were just kind of chopping it up with Josh Bailey on a couple of things that where are they now, right? Part of the segment, kind of just figuring out some background information on how the journey has come to this point. And our next segment, which is what does it take to start a business? And I'll go ahead and throw that first question to you, Josh Sanders, is have you started a business before? Do you have a background in businesses? Well, like I said before, business administration. I like to think that helped a bit, right?
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm business minded since I started going to school. That's why I got the undergrad in marketing and the MBA. But to be honest, that don't mean nothing. You can have all the paperwork you want if you don't know, if you're not trying, if you're not actively doing it. So that being said, I think one of the most important things you gotta have to start a business is one is drive and two is probably clientele. You gotta have somebody to treat. You gotta have somebody to take care of. You gotta have somebody to start that word of mouth process that we talked about a little bit earlier, and the drive. You gotta have some sort of organization, drive. Just keep on the track. Like it's not always gonna be pretty. I started mine 2 years ago, and it's really kind of just now starting to pick up. So if I'd have quit after year one, I'd have been,
Mm,
back to square one with starting a business. But the drive and the consistent clientele and communication with clientele and just things of that nature, I think that's big for starting a business.
okay. Yeah, and I'd like to speak a little bit about that. I kind of want to give Josh Bailey a little break here. He's been going at it a
Yeah.
little bit. So I'll go ahead and just ping pong it back to you, Josh Sanders. I kind of want to go back into the drive aspect of what you're saying, right? Because I think having a business is underestimatedly difficult. And being a 9 to 5 person, honestly, through everyone's life, started from school, we're 9 to 5 people, right? Going to work, we're 9 to 5 people. And I think it's kind of an underestimated fact that drive that you're talking about. So can you kind of just talk a little bit more of what drive you're referring to, what drive means to you? What does that look like in your business?
So personally in my business, I'm not even gonna talk about my business. So I was raised in a family of dentists. My stepdad is a dentist and my mom runs the dentistry. So they kind of been running their own practice for what 30 some odd years now. That being said, my stepdad's a dentist. What he does to make his business profitable, it's a dentist. It's already going to be profitable, but to make it even more profitable, is he minimalized costs, and he's working on weekends. He's working on holidays. So when I come home for Christmas, Thanksgiving, he's doing all of the billing for his company
Mm,
in his office instead of referring it out to somebody. So that's the drive. You got to be willing. You could do all the. I could be an athletic trainer. I know how to needle. I know how to cup. I know how to massage. I know how to do all that. That's the easy part. It's when I go back home and I sit behind the desk and I'm doing all the paperwork, the tedious stuff, that is really going to make the business more profitable and want to make money actually. And that also goes into creating content, I guess, and stuff like that to build that clientele and spread that word of mouth and actually get people to come check out what you're doing and then go spread it to other people. And honestly, sometimes you have to bite a bullet or two to kind of get a client. You know, every client doesn't have money to pay your prices and whatnot, unfortunately. So in the beginning, sometimes you do have to work with the client on price and stuff like that. You know, you have to bite a bullet or two here and there to make the business profitable and, you know, spread the word. And that's really what in these past 2 years have been, not so much biting bullets and everything, but just, you know, keeping that constant mental drive going that this business is going to be successful. And y'all know, like the school bus, I mean, I love the school bus, but it's a pain. Like it's like any other old school car. Like it's going to break down every now and then. A tire's going to blow on the road. And I'm like, all right, let's sell the bus. Nah, I'm keeping the bus, you know? So like the bus is the niche of the business. So I got to keep the bus. So that being said, really, every day there's going to be something that tells you just give up on it. Give up on it. You ain't getting enough clients. The bus broke down. You know, you're paying more than you're incoming. Stick with it. Eventually, if you have a niche and you think it's going to work and you keep that mental drive, eventually it'll pan out for you.
I, man, that is. Listen, I don't even want to say anything else. That is truly the definition of owning a business, and I think even especially in the first year, I think one of the big things that you said too that really kind of stuck with me is the minimizing cost. I think that's really crucial because as a 9 to 5 person, never done business before. Listen, growing up, we never talked about money. Growing up, we never budgeted. We never had those types of conversations. So to throw somebody like that into a business world where I don't want to say you're nickel and diming everything, right? But you gotta have to keep track. You gotta have some kind of system. And I think it's really important, like you said, is to minimize that cost because you'll be surprised how fast that checkbook adds up. And depending on the industry, in the construction world, in the residential real estate world, we're talking about tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you're not careful, dotting your I's, checking your T's on all that stuff, it really does add up. So I guess as far as minimizing the cost and in real estate, what they call it is sweat equity. It sounds like that's exactly what you're talking about is doing that sweat equity. You did the bus yourself, you worked on that. You're putting in those late hours. And I think in that first year, everything unimaginable goes bad. And like you said, once you stick to it, if it's something you love, man, and I know both of you guys, and it's something that you both love doing, and I think that's really another important part is that gets you through those times, that tough times where you're just like, yeah, I can most definitely sell this bus. So I most definitely understand that. And kind of going back to you, Josh Sanders, right on the minimizing cost and really putting in that sweat equity. What do you think has made your business the most successful?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I would say what has made the business successful is the niche of the bus. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm,
Like I haven't treated anybody in the bus in a year and a half, and people still ask me to get treated in the bus and where's the bus gonna be. Like, I think I've only treated one person in the bus, and I treated them in the bus maybe about 10 or 15 times. But everybody wants to get treated in the bus, and I'm like, okay, I mean, but the bus, I mean, I live in the bus now, so it's not like I'm about to take, that's my house, so I'm not about to just let everybody in my house. So here and there, I let certain people in, but not only does it markets itself because it got my logos all over it, so I drive it down to the beach. People are like, "What's that?" And then they used to go to the socials. I took down all the socials for other reasons, but they
mhm.
used to go to the socials, follow and stuff like that, and see what I did, and went from there. But people see it on the street and they want to come inside, and I'm like, sure, you could come and see what's inside. So it literally markets itself. So I'd say the niche, which is what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be the bus, is really what drives itself, and that's been the key factor to the business. Because there's a million athletic trainers out there. Just that and my personality really kind of just goes hand in hand, and you know, experience, like you said. But the main thing is definitely the bus.
Okay, for sure. I get that, man, because it's cool as hell. You saw that picture under the sun, man. That's beautiful palm trees in the background. Yeah, it's most definitely a cool thing.
That's
I
it.
I think I think too. and I think really this is exactly what we're talking about before. Josh Bailey was bending and not breaking. I think this was most definitely a very crucial thing to have during COVID, right? Like, how many people were getting treated going through I, you can go straight to somebody's backyard, their driveway, wherever you are, and it's most definitely personal. I think I don't know if you caught it. What we were talking about before was that Josh Bailey is in a very intimate industry, right? He's doing construction on people's homes and things like that. It's a very intimate type of project he's doing, right? And I honestly, I think even more so, you're even more so, right? You're doing athletic training. You're working with people's bodies. It doesn't get any more personal than that, right? And I think when you're talking about providing the service and the niche that you're in, you're even going a step further. You're not saying, "Hey, here's this regiment that I give to every single body. Meet me here. Go out of your way." You're taking it a step further. You're saying, "I'm meeting you on your terms. I'm meeting you where you're comfortable. I am bringing everything that you need to you, and it's customized to you." And I think even more so, the bus. Yeah, you're right. I agree. The bus is most definitely the niche, but I think, man, you and your social media presence and the things that you do to promote it is really great stuff. And I think you are most definitely the other part of that niche too, right? Because we've been in the athletic training room. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys have that gift of the gab. And I'm just like, we'll talk about anything and everything. So it's really cool that I think not only is your bus the niche, I think you really are the niche too, man, for sure.
Appreciate that, Squiz. Appreciate that, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Is that well, I think Josh Sanders has made his time. Let's do back to the ping pong effect. So, going back a little bit more on what does it take to start a business. I'm going to go back to Josh Bailey because he said something I think was really crucial. And this is a perfect question for this is he said previously, just the one thing that he wished he could do earlier is just get started. And I think that's a very key. Hindsight is 2020, but and we were saying, failure equals perspective. You learn from your failures, you learn from your mistakes, maybe even more so than the wins. But just getting started, man, right? Like just getting started. So my question to you, Josh Bailey, is what gave you the confidence to start? What said, hey, you're ready, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean, it really all boiled down to in a short window of time, I had quite a few people who I was either working with or my material suppliers or subcontractors. And I just kept hearing the same thing over and over. It's like, why aren't you doing this for yourself?
Mm,
It's like you're doing all this work for somebody else, and you have all this knowledge and you have all these people you can go to subcontract and to buy things. Why aren't you doing it for yourself? And I said, well, all right, I guess we'll give it a shot. And that's just kind of how it all really started. And the word of mouth and getting in, and I've got subcontractors who they're specialty people like electricians and plumbers. They don't do the carpentry or drywall or flooring, so they'll actually tell people about me. So, and then I hire them to do my trades for those, and it just kind of all spirals together. So once a lot of people started talking about it, I said, hey, let's try it. Worst that's going to happen is it ain't going to work, and we'll just keep going. But it's been a good ride so far.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool, man. Like to have that support, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go back to you real quick because is this a piggyback type of question off of that? Did you as you were getting started, did you ever feel stuck? Did you just feel stuck when you're starting out your business?
I always say that the easy part is actually doing the work. It's
Mm,
actually getting the materials there, getting the guys going, doing the hands-on stuff. That's the easy part. It's all the planning beforehand, whether it's administrative or getting permits or starting the business, licenses and getting your insurance and all that stuff. I mean, I never went to school for any of that stuff. I never went to school for anything. It's just stuff that I've picked up, and Googling, hey, what forms do I need for this or what do I need for that, and just asking people like you and getting your opinions on stuff, and that's really the only way to do it. So
Yeah, for sure. I think having people on your side is most definitely net worth equals net worth is
oh
what they
yeah,
say.
yeah, most definitely.
Well, okay. Well, let me go and say the same question to Josh Sanders is what what gave you the confidence to start the bus?
So, as an athletic trainer, we be in the office from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Yeah, in season from camp all the way to the end of the season, we be in the office from 6 a.m. to 9, kind of like today. I
Wow.
started at 9:30 today, and it's currently 6:30, and so we be in the office. Well, vice versa. But that being said, I was tired of being there for 15 hours a day and not building me. Because by the time you get home after 15, 16 hour day, you're like, nah, I'm not doing nothing else. So after I was an intern for the Dolphins for 2 years, and I did FIU for a full year. After FIU, I got called to the UFL, which was the 4 month gig.
Hmm.
I was like, all right, now I got 8 free months to do whatever I want. Say less. I started a business, and I'm gonna tie this into the question that I actually left on, um, which was my first. How did I get my first client? Um, the person who taught me dry needling, he had a friend who played hockey down in South Florida. So he calls me and he's like, "Can you treat my friend?" And I was like, "Yup, I'll pull a bus up to this park, tell him to meet me there." And that's how I got my first client, and then started rolling from there. But literally, I was just tired of being in the office for 16, 17 hours a day, working on somebody else, not getting paid the way I should be getting paid. And it was really the pay. So that was
Wow.
a no-brainer to leave. So then after that, I was like, you know what? Everything else is gonna be extra. So let's open a business and do whatever I please from there. So, and it just started spinning from there.
Wow. Well, that's crazy, man. Because again, that word of mouth, that seems to be another recurring theme is that word of mouth, man. The the number one marketing tool.
Yep.
Uh, so just kind of piggybacking off of that question, did you ever feel stuck in that beginning phase? Did you ever just mentally, emotionally, or
I
you
ain't gonna
know?
lie, I still feel stuck. I still feel
100%.
stuck. Like I ain't a millionaire yet. I'm gonna be stuck till I'm a billionaire, But
Uh-huh.
nah, and that's the mentality I really keep with it. So
For sure.
no, stuck not so much. Clients call me whether it be to treat them or whether it be to cover at like a sporting event like I'm doing today. I get calls probably twice a day for, yo, can you come to this event for me? Yo, can you cover this? Can you cover
Mm,
this? So I be chilling. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't really feel stuck, but in a sense of I need to make more money. I'm stuck. Yes.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that feeling goes away. I think even millionaires think the same way
Right.
for sure. Um, well, kind of, I wanted to go back to give the folks. This is a general question, really. Either one of you guys can answer it. If you want to raise your hand or whatever, take it. But what were the first steps when you were starting your business? And then when I say first steps, we kind of already discussed the whole idea, what it took for that part. But legally, financially, business wise, what kind of structures did you guys put in place when you were starting out?
Yeah, so I mean, you got to go through the state, get an actual business license. So started that process there, and I think it was a little over $100, and get your name legal, and then figuring out the insurance part and making sure not that I just have insurance, but I have insurance that if something does go wrong, I don't want it to come back on me. I want to take care of the issue and make sure everybody's taken care of. So getting the right insurance and kind of just bootstrapping it at first. You
Mhm.
can't just go out and start and jump into debt. You gotta figure your way through it and earn that money and just keep it in there and just keep plugging along. So I got lucky on the first job. It ended up being a pretty decent sized job, and they were willing to give me some money up front for covering the materials. So that was a blessing right there that they had that trust in me to not just run off with their money, and um, that really helped.
Yeah, and I would bring this same question to Josh Sanders too, because you guys are both in completely two different industries, but I never thought about insurance as you know, because you guys have to ensure you're dealing with people's homes, you're dealing with subcontractors, you're dealing with people's bodies. Josh Sanders, did you have to get specific insurance for that type of stuff, or?
So we're not required to, but they what do they encourage us to while we're in school to like get personal liability insurance. So I do have personal liability insurance, and typically whatever job I work also has insurance.
Hmm.
So they cover me as well. So this is just a bunch of coverage, but I took the same steps as him. Made sure I got insurance. I got a license to do business in like 5 different states, to be honest. And then I, yeah, went and made it an LLC as well. So I was like, okay. And those are my 3 legal things. As far as a bank account, haven't really dabbled into that yet, but that's kind of in the next few steps within the next few months and whatnot.
Hmm. Yeah, I think well, let me put a quick disclaimer out, right? We're most definitely get your own legal advice. This is for educational purposes. Every state is going to be different. Every industry is going to be different. So make sure you guys that are listening out there to seek out your own legal advice, your own financial advice to deal with your own particular business and situation. So thank you guys for the insight on those items. Now, going to oh well, this was, you know, I these questions, man, are bangers. These questions are bangers that are coming through because they're great. Go ahead, Aaron. I think I just saw the next one.
Okay, I'll read it out for you. How did you balance your personal life and relationships while starting your business?
Go ahead, Josh.
You
You
don't
first.
kick us. Me, um, personally, I moved to Florida. All my friends are in New York and Pennsylvania, so ain't nobody down here but me. All I got to worry about is me and the business. As far as personal life, I mean, it's hard. I ain't gonna lie. That's probably one of the harder things because I can literally sit on the couch and play video games all day long and not do nothing. So that was probably staying locked in and being like, "Ah, I don't need to film a video today to post it. I need to text this client to check on how he was because I treated him 2 days ago. You know, I could literally sit on the couch and not do any of that stuff and just, get lost in a video game or a TV series or something like that. So I would say that was probably one of the more difficult parts. But relationships, I ain't got none of those. So your world, Josh Bailey.
Yeah. It's a juggling act. You got to know that whatever free time you have, you can spend it just hanging out, or you can spend it on building something to where all your time's free time. It's just kind of that mentality of, I've got all these tasks I got to get done, and I got this much time to do it, and you just knock out the ones that you need to do to keep you moving along. And definitely at first it was a lot because like I said, the whole paperwork and figuring out all the what am I doing legally and making sure I cross my T's and dot my I's. I didn't know any of that stuff. I knew the construction and I knew the how to run the actual day-to-day stuff, but trying to figure all that out, that took a lot of the personal time, and just kind of figuring that out, sitting down with the wife and saying, hey, I need to take a little bit of this time over here, and I got to work on this, so it'll be better for our future.
Yeah, and I always like to see both of you guys kind of talk about the same things, and because when you guys are talking, there's a lot of completely different industries, but you guys are talking about the same exact stuff.
Mhm.
I see that Josh had to drop off real quick. He'll probably be back, but oh, there you go. You see, you guys are kind of there's always these reoccurring themes despite the industry that you guys are saying, right? And one of those things is Josh Sanders was saying before, he was spending all of his time working, right, 15 plus hours, and he didn't have any time to focus on himself to build himself up, right? And he also said about being locked in. You got to be locked in and really focus on the grind, focus on the business, and then like you just said, Josh Bailey, is you have to prioritize. You need to, if you have relationships, you need to set the parameters, right? You need to talk to your significant others, the ones you love, the people that are in your life, to say, hey, I'm putting all my chips in this, and I need time to build me. I need time to focus. I need time to lock in. And that motivation, right? think it kind of goes back into a little bit of what you guys were saying before. You guys love this. You guys love to do it. So you're motivated. Locking in is a little bit easier. But that being said, I want to kind of focus a little bit on the building me aspect of it, right? What does building you, and I'll kick that over to Josh Bailey. What does building you look like, right? What are you doing to educate yourself? What are you doing to get better?
Yeah, a lot of it is just, research. A lot of times, when I was younger and you're just out there actually doing the work, and I'd just be, headset in and just jamming to some music and just going to get the work done, punching the clock 9 to 5, whatever the hours are, and just doing that. And then, as I started progressing, I started wanting to learn more. So you start getting into podcast stuff. So, a lot of that of, listening to other people's stories, because somebody out there has the answer. I've yet to find a question that I can't get answered by just pushing it into YouTube and saying, what is this? So just, I really don't have a lot of time to read, and I'm always out on the road, and but just popping on a nice lecture or a podcast about something that I want to know about, how to build your business, or how to form your LLCs, or tax filings, and just stuff that I would never know. Just learning, just learning more and more, and just educating myself. And then next thing I know, I'm talking about stuff that 2 years ago I wouldn't even know what to look for. So it's it's good to see that, and always just growing.
Yeah, I love to see that growth in people, man. And you in particular, I remember you were, when we first started talking and everything like that. I knew of Dave Ramsey, but I never really listened or watched and stuff. And then you told me to like sit down, listen to this
Yeah.
one, listen to that one, and I'm just like, what is this guy? Like, who is this guy? He's just changed. This is a new Josh Bailey that I'm listening to now, talking about all these financial things and contracts,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
man.
what? Like,
Yeah, getting on that Dave Ramsey stuff, and just listen to his EntreLeadership. A lot of that stuff is just people calling in and saying, "Hey, I've got 13 employees and I make $7 million a year, and I bring home $20," and it's like, what? Like, how does that even make sense? So just learning how other people are running their businesses, whether it's 1, 2 people, husband and wife, or it's 30 people, and the struggles that they're coming through, and it's like, man, I never thought about that. What if something
Mhm.
happens like that? And just kind of jot that down in the notebook and say, hey, research whatever this is, research that, and just listen to other people, because other people can make the mistakes and you can still learn from it too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I said something like this before, and I might be messing up my own words, but there's a definition between wisdom and street smarts. Wisdom is learning from somebody else's experience. Street smarts is when you go out there and get those bumps and bruises yourself. And I think there's no better path to learning, or a greater path to success is listening to that wisdom of others. So I think it's really important. And I know Josh Sanders, he has to go through a lot of education and a lot of trainings and things like that. So are you able to talk about that a little bit, Josh? Or you good?
Yeah, I'm done
Okay.
work now. I'm in the car, so I'm gonna hang out in the car till this is over. But as far as obviously to be an athletic trainer, you got to go to 4 years of undergrad and 2 years of a master's degree. Um, as far as like certifications and everything, I mean, you're kind of at your leisure at which ones you want to take.
Mm,
Um, so like the dry needling one, probably that's a deeper level of treatment than most treatment. Like you're not just treating the surface with like massage or cupping, you're needling. So that took probably about 3 or 4 classes, and now I'm able to teach dry needling, so I do that as well. But as far as like getting other certifications and stuff, it's really at your own leisure. Um, I I try to push people towards certain ones because I've taken a lot of them, and a lot of them are taught in school. Um, as tedious as it can be, you're always learning in this profession, and that's what I like. They So in this profession they require you actually to get CEUs, continuing educational credit units, CEUs. So you have to get like 50 of those every 2 years, and you get those through certifications, doing research and classes like that. So um Yeah, I'd say that that's probably one of the only things you have to keep up with in as far as this profession is to get those CEUs, make sure you stay on top of them. And like you said, you had the leisure to pick whatever you want as far as the CEUs. So you could pick dry needling, you could pick cupping, you could pick writing or doing research, whatever it may be. So there's multiple options.
Yeah, God bless you, man. When I was done with school, I was done.
Right.
I can't imagine going back that many times. But like we were saying earlier today, bending, not breaking, continuing. You got to adapt, and education is the way to adapt, right? And learning new things with the changing times, I think that's very crucial. So you're always learning. Both of you guys are always learning and educating yourselves. So, well, before we go into our last segment, which is the wants, needs, and goals, I want to leave this segment with one last question, and this is for both of you guys. What has been the biggest challenge so far in your business? What was the biggest things that you've had to overcome? I know we've talked about the motivation, talked about just wanting to quit, but what were some of those things that you had to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
He's gone. I'll kick it off. Biggest thing I had to overcome is other people telling me that I can't do it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if so my profession is you have doctors, you have PTs, you have everybody who can like write their scripts and do everything. So I just was like, I'm gonna figure it out on my own. So and that's really what it was, is other people telling me that whether I can't do it, it's not possible, whatever it may be. I'm like, no, like you said earlier, people could do whatever they want. You can do whatever you put your mind to.
I think that's crucial, right? Like when you're starting anything new, it's going to be difficult. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel strange, and people are going to be doubting. People are going to doubt you. There's no. You're going to doubt yourself. Like
Hmm.
you're
Yep.
probably the
Yep.
first person that doubted yourself.
Yep.
And when you went to these, when you're talking to other people, you're not really looking for their approval. You're just like, just kind of checking the heat. Just kind of checking to see what you guys think.
That's
But
it.
no, man. I think having the gusto and the self-confidence in yourself to actually get it through is the number one thing, right? Especially when you put yourself out there in social media, man. The world is the trolls out there. It's tough. So I think it's really cool to understand that you're going to have those doubters. You're going to have those people that bring you down, but you got to find your niche. You got to find the people, your tribe. You got to find those people that actually bring you up. So going back to the like what we were saying before, that network equals that net worth. So like-minded people, like-minded podcasts. So going back to Josh Bailey with the same question, he's educated himself with all these podcasts to bring that tribe together to really understand. Okay, well, this is how I educate myself. This is the mindset I need to have. So going back to you, Josh Bailey, with the same question, what has been your biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I mean, really the biggest challenge is just learning the business part of something that you never had to learn. I feel like there's two different kinds of people in that own their own business, at least in contracting, and it's people who went to school for it and they know how to do it on book, but they've never swung a hammer. And then there's other people who that's all they've ever done is they started at picking up trash and watching how other people do stuff and then slowly working their way up and going from I remember working with my dad, when we were young, just picking up trash on the weekends and we were doing commercial flat roofing in the summertime and going from that to running multiple crews on multiple jobs and multiple facets. Just seeing that it's crazy. But as far as the paperwork side, I mean that's going to be the biggest struggle for someone like me who I never went to school for anything. I never had that mentor behind me saying, oh, make sure you file this so you can write this off, and make sure you do this so you can not get that. Just learning that part of it. That's the biggest struggle.
Yeah, kudos to you, man, because I would say when I'll try and learn it, but I'll hire that professional. Like I'm gonna get a
Yeah.
lawyer. I'm gonna get a lawyer to handle it, man. Because
Yeah, that's
I,
all
I
money though. It costs money. You got to start.
listen.
you gotta
When
you gotta bootstrap it yourself, man. You got to get in there, and you can find it if you can legally file that paperwork. I'll do it myself. It's just how I did it.
yeah, I know a lot of people that started their own LLCs, right? It's just really one sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And they, instead of getting a lawyer, you can most definitely do it yourself. So I understand that, especially going back to the topic that we were saying before of minimizing costs. When you're first starting, man, yeah, I'll most definitely. But I'm in the mindset now where I'm just like, yeah, I see so many contracts and so many lawyer lingo that I'm like, yeah, you do your dude.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for this for sure, but
Yeah, and certain stuff for sure. Yeah, you definitely need somebody that went to school for that stuff to do that, because that's the last thing you want to do is get on one of these big jobs and something happens and you start owing tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars and you're like, uh-oh, I should have just filed that $500 paperwork. And so
well, I think too, it kind of goes back to what we're saying about educating yourself, right? Like Josh Sanders, you're saying that already. You know the business, you know what you have to do, and you're already educating yourself constantly to put you in a position where you should have little to no or minimalized risk, right? So I think that's important.
I was that guy though with 2 business degrees, did not know how to swing the hammer. So I can't even. You gotta live and you learn. You gotta live and learn it though. That's it. That's the only way to find out.
yeah.
100%. You're going to get those bumps and bruises, right? So you might as well get it
That's it.
early. So, well, just wanted to make sure before we move on to our next segment, Aaron, was there any other questions that came in or at all? Anything like that before we move on?
No, nothing new
Nope.
came in.
No new questions? All right. Sounds good. Thank you. Well, let's go on to our next segment, which is the last segment of the day, wants, needs, and goals. Kind of more so talking about our aspirations, right? Like what do we want? What are the next steps that we need? And kind of how we get there. So we're going to kick it off with Josh Sanders on this one. And I just want to ask you, if you could change one thing about your business, what would it be? What would you want that change to be?
I guess I would go with location. I love being out here in South Florida. There's obviously a huge market for what I do, but I've always wanted to settle down and be in North Carolina. That's kind of been the goal, but
Decade?
it's been cold for the past 2 weeks, and if I had to live in the bus in North Carolina I would die. I would literally
Man.
die.
I got hoodies on hoodies.
That's not cutting it because I sleep in hoodies. I sleep on that. It's 55 degrees and I'm sleeping on a heated mattress. Like I'd be
55.
right, and I'd be struggling if I was where y'all at. So, I would say location. I do want to end up there eventually, but besides that, like I said, I love what I do. I love the bus. Maybe I would say if any. No, because that's a want. That's a want. That's later. That's the next question. So I'll leave it there. If I had to change one thing about it, I'd choose to be where I want to be and to be settling down in life, and instead of being out here in South Beach partying and doing all this extra stuff.
That Miami life gets tough, man. I know.
Yeah, tempting.
For sure, man. That I like I said, before, North Carolina, I think it's a very special place to me. We're both from New York. It's a lot different. Both of you guys can speak on it, right? North Carolina, I think, is very entrepreneur friendly. There's a lot of small local businesses out here in a lot of different industries. So I'm always advocating for North Carolina. I'm going to push that. Maybe North Carolina can sponsor this podcast next, but we'll most definitely try and get you out here. The whole thing. So just going back to Josh Bailey with the same question, what would you change if there's one thing you could change about your business? What would it be?
Yeah, I guess the paths I do for marketing. I think right now that's really one of my big things. It is word of mouth, and word of mouth is great. But word of mouth isn't always as plentiful as I would like it. So maybe trying to figure out different ways to market. Obviously, no school background, so definitely didn't go to school for marketing. I don't understand all that the algorithms of how people push stuff, and so learn stuff about that, and just trying to change how I push stuff out and get my stuff in front of the right people who are looking for an honest contractor who's going to take care of what they want, and listen to them, and not just rush through a job and take advantage of them. So I think that'd probably be it.
Okay. Yeah. Before I deep dive into that what you were saying too, I kind of want to just say a little tidbit on this whole segment at all is really to gain and understand the different wants and needs and goals that you both guys have, and hopefully, right, through this podcast, hopefully through our shared networks of people, like you might know some people that in North Carolina that can help Josh out. Josh might know some people in North Carolina or Florida that can help you out, and vice versa. So hopefully we can be able to contact and put everybody into contact with one another that pushes you and helps you guys to move your businesses forward. So that's kind of the whole point of the wants and needs goals segment of today's podcast. So I just wanted to go back to what you were saying a little bit, Josh Bailey, on your marketing part. And this is kind of me kind of putting on my coaching hat a little bit and asking you, what does marketing look like to you in your industry? I don't even know what options do you have? What avenues would you take?
And that's really the thing, it's where do I want to market? You see some people out there who, they got the cheesy one-liners that are catchy, or they got the songs that are stuck in your head, and but then I know your song, you love that one, but
I love them.
To me, that's not the sustenance of the message. I want people, when they see my logo or they see my name or see something like that, they go, that guy will take care of your job. And I think a lot of that is the face-to-face personable. A lot of people I meet, like at Lowe's, I have a great relationship with, the pro desk over there at one certain store, and they introduce me to, their other contractors, and then we have a working relationship, and it's, hey, I don't do this, but this guy does. So, just kind of getting that on a digital scale, getting that out there as far as when somebody sees my information, they know, that's somebody who I can trust, and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I think that's really great. Trying to figure out the marketing thing is always hard. I heard somebody say, it was like a video or something, and they asked the question, why don't you see any commercials for Rolls Royce? And I was like, I never, I don't know. I never looked for a Rolls Royce. But they market to people who can buy planes. That's what they said. I don't know if this is true or not, but basically what they do is when somebody's trying to sell a plane or buy a plane, they'll park the Rolls Royce right next to it. A plane is, I don't even know, that's out of my budget, but a plane is a lot of money. It's expensive. And then when they look at that Rolls Royce, they're like, I might just buy that instead of the plane. So that's like the marketing that they have. And I'd say that to say, kind of just because what you said, Josh, is it's very crucial to place your marketing where your target audience is.
Yeah.
Like you said, both of you guys said, it sounds like it's a reoccurring theme, right? The word of mouth, walking up to people and just saying, hey, this is what I do. Listen, this is, go to my website, see my social media, look what I've done, look what I'm about, and getting that trust. I think this is the reoccurring theme. The whole conversation is word of mouth, trust, marketing, minimizing cost, locking in motivation. These are all the things that we can just, throughout the whole conversation, both of you guys have said, which has been honestly amazing. You guys have nothing to do with each other industry wise, but you guys are saying the same thing. That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
And that's really any business, I mean, you go, you can call it Google reviews, you can call it whatever you want, but it's that word of mouth that, if somebody's heard about you 10 times, they're going to take that leap of faith, and it's, you don't just Google somebody and say, oh, first one that popped up. You want to look at those reviews. You want to see, are they actually a good contractor? Are they a good occupational therapist? Are they, who you want to take care of you? And I think that's pretty strong.
And it definitely is.
Yeah, for sure. I think it takes a lot for somebody to recommend, right? So I think that's pretty good.
Mhm.
I've seen Google reviews where they complain about the parking lot. So
Right.
anybody,
Yeah.
so for this next question, I want you guys to, you can close your eyes, whatever you want to do. You can, but I want you guys to think big. I want you guys to say, well, in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, this is what I see. So the next question is, what is the next level of your business and what would it take to get there? Josh Sanders.
Josh,
Oh,
I
Josh
got,
Bailey.
I got,
Wait, no, no.
nah, nah, I got you.
We got to do a
Um,
buzzer. We got to have a buzzer next time.
whoever goes first, Family Feud style.
Yeah.
Um, I'd say, so initially when I started this business, I wanted a strength and conditioning aspect to it. So my best friend is a strength and conditioning coach, but he lives up in Jersey.
Mhm.
And I really wanted him to, like, be going 50-50, him half strength conditioning, half athletic training, and it could be virtual, in person, but he had other plans. That is what the goal is for me within the next, what, 7 to 10 years. I would like to get a brick and mortar
Mm.
gym with the athletic training aspect to it as well. And then keep the bus, obviously. I'd like to get maybe like four more buses, maybe gut them out, do the same thing, and allow people to actually go to people's houses and do rehabs and treatment and stuff like that if they aren't able to make it to the gym or don't feel, a lot of people don't feel comfortable coming to the gym. So if we can extend that service to do it in their house, just pain relief at your house, get stronger at your house, get knowledge at your house. If I could come to you and provide all of those things, I think that'd be very beneficial. Or have a staff of people that I feel comfortable letting out to do it. So that's kind of the goal of brick and mortar, with maybe like 3 or 4 more buses to kind of like actually be able to serve the public instead of just being stationary at one spot.
Hmm. And I will tell you from my perspective, when when it comes to wintertime, I go to hibernation. I don't like to leave the house. I barely leave the house as is, even when it's summertime. So that's like nothing. So if I could rent a few barbells, dumbbells, and just work out at home, listen,
That's right.
I'm sign me up, subscription
That's
style.
it. That's it. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and I think it's also cool too that you're saying you would also do the brick and mortar and have more buses. I think that's like you said, that niche is pretty awesome. So that's really cool, man. You might even be able to customize those buses at some point because you're going to be an expert, man. It's
That's,
crazy
yeah,
what you've done with that bus.
yeah, to be honest, I'm still working on it. Like, literally maybe earlier this week, I sold the wheelchair lift out of it, so I'm about to build like
Mm.
a sink slash shower combination, so I can actually shower in there and whatnot comfortably. But no, I became a handyman over the past few years, so I got saws, I got drills, I got everything. So, but I could
Well,
use Josh Bailey's knowledge. That's what I need. I need the knowledge.
listen, that sounds pretty awesome, man. Because if you're basically a one-stop shop now, people can take showers there too. You know what I
You see,
mean?
you see,
Like,
you
hey,
see, you see
I
that
see
your
the merch,
boss,
man.
your body's one
One-stop
stop
shop.
shop.
Exactly.
Mm.
So let me go ahead and kick the same question to Josh Bailey, which was, what is the next level for your business, and what would it take for you to get there?
Yeah, so really the next one is going to be getting my actual GC license for North Carolina. That'll just enable me to take on bigger jobs and have that assurity that I can tackle any project. I'm working on that right now, going through all the process of it. It's quite a detailed process, getting through all the paperwork. And obviously, I'm not a paperwork guy who knows all the lingo and trying to. I've called the office probably 10 times. They probably know my phone number, asking questions that I can't figure out, where to go next on it. So you're really just taking that, and then from there, it's just going to take off. It's going to allow me to really market myself as able to take on any project, and really get into that real estate realm as well with the IAR stuff, and
Mhm.
tackle any job, not just for us but for others, and just you name it, we can definitely do that. And then I'd really like to get into customizing some buses for a guy. You know, bring him up here to North
Yeah.
Carolina. We'll
That's it. Come
we'll
on.
outfit them all, man. You get the bus, we'll make it happen. So,
You
We
see,
can-
we're
we can
making
work that.
connections already.
Yeah,
We're making
but-
connections already.
but you got to move up here though. I can't be
Yeah,
traveling. Out of Florida.
yeah. He'll
You
burn,
mean you
man.
don't
He'll
want to
burn.
take a trip to Miami?
Nah.
Say
Well,
like we can work something out.
Yeah.
Josh Bailey, I think that reminds me of something that I need to say before we move on is IAR. Today's show is sponsored by IAR Property Solutions. They
There
will
you
be
go.
by your side through the Merry Real Estate Ride. Had to slip that in, little promo.
Yeah.
Got to get our sponsors in. So just kind of moving on. What do you guys have any upcoming projects that you guys are excited about, or what kind of projects, or I guess those are your future plans, right? So what upcoming projects are you guys excited about going into?
So my next one that I'm really looking at is it's going to be a full kitchen remodel. It's for the same customers that I had that did that outbuilding for the guy. They want to wait till after all the holidays, and they had some help things they want to get taken care of. So we're going to be diving into to do a full kitchen remodel on their kitchen. So exciting on that. Trying to bring their vision to life. They've got some plans of they used to be a workable kitchen for them, and now it's just not what they want anymore. So, I like tackling those kind of projects. It's not just painting a room; it's recreating something for somebody, and changing the whole dynamic of the flow of the house, and especially kitchens and bathrooms. It's really it's a fun big projects.
That's awesome, man. Bringing dreams into reality for sure.
Yeah.
Josh Sanders, same thing. Anything upcoming that you're excited about?
I'm getting ready to move back to Texas for the next 4 months for my UFL league. But when I get back, like I'm building the sink and shower conversion now. But what I really want to do when I get back after the league is I never really fully gutted it. Like I really just took the seats out and took all the bus stuff out. I never took like the floor, the ceiling out or anything like that. So I think when I get back from Texas, I really want to do that and fully gut it and actually get it to be, a livable place. It was a workable place. It wasn't a livable place. Now I'm living in an unlivable, workable place, but I make it work. I make it work.
Yeah, I got you.
So, but after the season, I think that's what I want to do is fully gut it and put in. I'm gonna call Josh. I'm gonna get your number after this, and we're definitely gonna be in contact because I'm a little bit of a handyman. I ain't too much.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I got no problem helping you out for sure.
Don't put in that work. All right. Well, just I want to go ahead and thank you both for taking the time out and joining this podcast and doing this episode. I'd like to thank our audience. Most definitely like to thank Aaron for
Yes, sir,
moderating all those questions and stuff,
Appreciate it.
because there were most definitely some good bangers coming through the door. So before we head out, I kind of just want to leave this, want you guys to kind of leave a few remarks for our audience and just kind of give some last minute advice to any new business owners. If you had to give some advice to them, what would you give them?
Do it. Just get started.
Do it.
What's that saying? The best day to start something is yesterday, and the second best is today. Something like that.
Best day to plant a tree. I was gonna say that earlier. Best day to plant a tree was
Wow.
yesterday.
Yeah.
I gotta get the fortune cookies you guys get, man.
But I mean, that's
good.
really it. There's people out there who do this who have less training and less knowledge and less know-how and less money, and just start. You're gonna find some issues, and sometimes they cost money, sometimes they cost gray hairs, but you get them figured out and just keep pushing, and eventually you'll get a nice well-oiled machine, and it'll be nice.
Yeah, I can't agree more, man. Just do it. Just
I
do
was
it.
gonna say start too, but since he said start, I'm gonna say don't stop because like
Ooh.
Yeah.
like you're gonna have times where you're gonna be like, all right, this is costing too much or this is too tedious. Like just keep going. I promise you, you'll get your flowers. The end of the road, there will be flowers for you. So just keep pushing.
For sure. I think we could most definitely put both of those on t-shirts. Maybe not to just do it. That's Nike. But we can work something out for sure. We got some merch ideas coming. For sure.
Just get started. Something like
Just
that.
get started. Yeah. Just get started. And then on the back it says, "Don't stop." I think I
Don't
like
stop.
that. I like that. Don't stop. Okay, well, before we leave out here today, I just wanted to give you guys a moment to let the people know how they can contact you. How can they reach out for your particular services? So go ahead and let them know where they can find you. Bailey?
Yeah, so I got the website, owpropertysolutions.com. You can email me, j.bailey at owpropertysolutions. You see all my stuff on there. I got, who we work with and some pictures of some work. Definitely contact me and make some stuff happen.
All right, sounds good. And this being the first episode, pilot episode, maybe we can put something in editing, have it across the screen. Well, we're working on that. We're working on that. Josh Sanders, go ahead.
If I'm gonna keep it 100, the best way to contact me is probably my phone number, which Quiz, if you want to put it on the end, you're more than welcome to.
Gotcha.
The two marketing things I would like to get into over this next year is my goal is really get on Google marketing and Facebook marketing. I noticed that's where a lot of good marketing comes from. Social, I love, TikTok is great. Instagram is great. Personally for me, I just wasn't seeing the results I wanted from there. And like I said, don't stop. But at the same time, I've found other venues where I can put my time and get the results. Not the exact results that I want, but a little bit more than I was seeing on Instagram and TikTok. But that being said, Squiz, you could put my phone number and email up there if you please. When I get the Facebook and Google up and running, yeah, I'm more than welcome to check me out there. But those are my main.
All right. No, sounds good, man. If I figure out the editing part, we're good. We'll most definitely put it in there. So again, I'd like to thank all of you guys for being a part of this. I think this was a really good conversation. Hopefully we can have more of these, maybe individual or just more in general. I think it's really constructive and really does help a lot of people out. Aaron, thank you for the help for sure, putting this thing together and moderating the chats and questions and all that stuff. So I really appreciate it. Also, I'd like to give a quick thanks to Toastmasters Century Green for bringing this podcast to life and really giving that soundful advice. And to our sponsors, IAR Property Solutions. They will be ready for all your real estate needs from buying, selling, and renovating. Also, just one quick personal shout out. I'd like to thank my wife, Mariah, because she's downstairs with 2 kids, boy, which is allowing me to be up here doing this podcast with you guys. So I'm going to most definitely play her the unedited version of this so she knows I gave her a shout out.
Well, then I want to shout my wife out for bringing my laptop charger out to the workshop because I forgot it.
You see, you need a support system, man.
That's why I stepped away. I was like almost dying on my laptop. So,
well, listen, that's a good sign of a great conversation. So again, thank you guys for coming, and all to our audience. Like the great Joshes have said, just do it and don't stop. Start your business today. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank y'all. Have a good night.
See you.